Style. Style is the answer to everything.
Good morning. It's early, like super early. My alarm clock goes off super early, but I thought, you know what? I had a calling. It was bubbling. I was brushing my teeth and I'm like, oh my gosh. All right, fine. I will get in the car and tell the YouTube universe and all my gray curious friends about what my thoughts are right now. And I had a couple thoughts. I know it's always a scary thing, and it's kind of early, so I don't even know if I'll post this, but my train of thought was, you know, I had a comment and I haven't responded to her reply yet, but excuse me. The gist of it was her freaking out about the possibility of doing this, to do the transition. And I find it so, you know, I'm still kind of new to all of this. I mean, even though it's almost 2 years, it's still, in the scheme of things, that's really not a long time. And especially the YouTube and then the Instagram and following these women, and then, you know, looking at the comments that people put, and on both sides, like positive comments, negative comments, the women that have done it and have been through it, and then the women that are, you know, as I like to say, they're on the high dive, looking down, trying to decide if they're going to do this or not. And so I found it so odd, you know, where I'll have some people that are just like, it's just hair. It's just hair. You know, it's just hair. Who cares? It's just hair. And where I totally understand that. And, you know, I even said in the comment, I know that we're not, you know, we're not creating new energy that's going to propel us to find, you know, new galaxies throughout the universe. I completely understand that, you know, that gray hair really isn't that big of a deal. I've, you know, even done a video on how no one really actually does care, except you care. Okay. And so don't let anybody dismiss hair. And that's what I put in my reply to her, was that hair is a big deal. I mean, why don't you go look and see how many hair channels are on YouTube that just don't have anything to do with gray hair? You know, hair is a big deal for everyone. So don't let anybody try to gaslight you into thinking that you're being too sensitive about your hair, okay? I'm a little feisty here in the morning. I don't even have my morning voice completely under control here. Or the morning hands, for that matter. But I just thought it was so funny that people will go, you know, it's just hair, just, you know, deal with it or whatever. But here you are looking at these channels. So clearly you do have a little bit more than it's just hair, okay? And the other thing is, like, most guys, most balding men, excuse me, would give up 3 fingers to have their full 20-year-old hair back. So, you know, they, again, it is a situation where women find themselves, you know, questioning whether or not they're allowed to have a freak out moment about possibly going gray, you know. And when you are on that other side and you're looking at these gray hair channels and I mean, of course you're looking at the comments to see, you know, if there's, you know, what the feel is, what the vibe is. And when you see things like, you know, that you're being too sensitive about your hair or whatever the case may be, it just cracks me up, because here you are looking at a channel and the feeling is valid. It is. You spend a lot, I mean, all of your life up until, I mean, for me, up until my 40s, you know, one way, you know. And if you are somebody that maybe has a signature pixie cut or a signature hairstyle or, you know, something like that, I mean, there's a lot of identity that is wrapped up. I mean, I had really dark hair, you know, like everybody would bordered on that black to brown. You know, and this particular person I'm thinking of, he's a redhead, and I'm like, well, there's a whole thing around redheads, okay? I mean, there's a whole fetish community. There's just, I mean, everything. There is a whole identity wrapped up. And, you know, I had said in a couple videos ago that, like, with me, I know, like, I'm getting all this dimension, even though my hair is, you know, I literally have not even brushed it. I, like, got up, got my tea, and got in the car. So, but with someone that has like redhead or blonde head, you are already getting this dimension. You're already getting streaks of light. And, you know, when you're like a dark haired person, it's flat black all the time. So there is a transference of what your desire is, you know, it's there. You, instead of looking at it as you can actually get into instead of it being flat black, there is a dimension where I feel like when you are redhead or blondie, you don't. I mean, you really are, that's something that you're giving up. And so I had asked her, what is your why? I mean, what is your why is a huge thing. And if you're watching these videos, I mean, this is a niche that, I mean, I don't know, unless you have some kind of weird fetish about gray hair, which hey, there's a fetish for everything. But I mean, you have to be thinking about your why so that you can build around it. So let me give you an example. You know, mine was hair loss. I had boiled, you know, not that it has to be boiled down to this or that, but for me, I had boiled it down to either no hair or gray hair. And, you know, those were my kind of options. And so I was like, I'd rather have gray hair than no hair. And so I'm happy with that. You know, and whatever came from that or what it looks like or whatever was really not my concern. Oh my gosh, I'm getting hot in this robe. That really wasn't my concern, really. You know, it was more about just having that full head of hair. And, you know, and people are like, well, you know, you have the good gray hair. Well, I didn't know that. I didn't know that I had good gray hair. Nobody knows what kind of gray hair they have. And honestly, if you have been murdering the soul of your hair for 20 years, you don't know what your hair looks like either. So let's be honest with it all, okay? So whatever your precognition of what you think, you know, you're going to bring that into fruition. Did that even make sense? I don't even know if that made sense or if you could follow that. But you do have to be careful about that. So I know it's like morning and I'm totally rambling. And, you know, just a little added thought to all of this is that we do have a recession coming, okay? It is definitely coming. It's coming in a big, big, big way. And this is a little bit of thing, this gray hair, a little thing that you can do that can really help with that budget. I mean, actually, I did say I have a little gas station down the street, and it's been actually lowering the prices just to support the neighborhood, which is awesome. And I passed it yesterday, and it actually was $3.99, which we haven't had a 3 on our gas in Arizona in forever. But my point being is the recession is coming, and this is something that is a expense and a luxury that you might actually like better. If you watch my last video, there is this weird thing about the, you know, not wanting those pleasures becomes a pleasure in its own. And I can speak from my personal experience. I wouldn't change it. And if anything, I struggle more with the notion that I wish I would have done it sooner. You know, that's kind of how a lot of things, and you can't let yourself go down that rabbit hole either. You didn't know. And that goes with a lot of different things that you can feel that way on, okay? But there's a lot of benefits and there's a lot of real things to think about with this. So it's okay for a freak out. It's normal, okay? And enjoy that freak out if you can even possibly do that, because by sitting in it, in that uncomfortable hot tub, the hot tub of uncomfortable, you can listen to yourself and you'll decide whether or not you're ready to do it. You know, my argument has always been more women needed to just let it go at an early age, but we are so conditioned to have a youthful look, and that youthful means not gray. And so I think if more women did it younger, which I think it's going to happen. I mean, I'm seeing it, you know, I'm in that niche. I'm looking at it and I see a lot of beautiful women in their 30s, late 20s that are just saying, you know what, I'm going to go with it. Well, and especially, I mean, in recent years, I've seen, you know, kids go into hair salons trying to get the gray. So, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, you're there paying for it and I have it natural coming out. So all random thoughts, random morning thoughts. But golly, I think I need to go maybe do some yoga and decompress my little fiery morning. But man, it was bubbling this morning. So, you know, you know, sometimes it just needs to come out, and I hope that it you know, it lands for someone somewhere in a real way for you. And you know, good morning. Thank you for watching, and as always, from my reality to your reality, thank you for being, and thank you for being with me. You guys have an awesome Friday, great weekend, and I'll see you in the next video. Mwah.